All right. Actually, the third part of our series about investment in taxes is education. And I've been doing this for like, 10 years now. And one thing I can tell you for sure is every year they always have some incentive when it comes to education. And whether it's a education credit or a deduction, there's always something in the tax code to actually that promotes education. So one of the things that you have to know is the tax law is geared in such a way that you get more education and then you actually get more skills in order for you to provide service in the marketplace. So that's one of the advantage about the tax system is like, okay, they reward you for actually to getting more education, to getting to classes. And that being said, now you have to consult with an accountant to know exactly if what you're doing is tax deductible, because there are some restriction and there are some limit when it comes to those deduction and then credits. So it's not like, okay, I'm gonna go to a school and take some classes and then that becomes tax deductible. No, there are some rules, when it comes to those deductions, and there are some limitation about regarding the amount that you can deduct, because in some of them you can spend like 10,000 or 8,000 on education and it give you exactly the same type of deductions or credit. So you have to make sure that you talk to an accountant either before or when you're about to do your taxes to know exactly the implication when it comes to your education. Now, one of the thing is, to start this video, we have to mention investing in your own skills. That's one of the best investment that you can make, by far, because if you're investing in yourself where you're now more capable to go out to the marketplace, to provide a product or a service, it's overall it's better for you, it's better for your family, and of course, with time it will increase your income. So investing into your own skills is definitely a plus, and the government is like behind you. Yes, take some classes, go to the workforce, and then just provide more value to the workforce. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, one of the things that we'll discuss later on this video is, when it comes to deduction and then credit, because you have some education deduction and then you have some education credit. I'll explain that a little bit later on, but let's go about, to listing, the different advantages, when it comes to education and then taxes. Now, for college savings, there are some plans out there. If you have kids that are eventually that's going to go to college, you can actually kind of like prepaid, their tuition, and there are some tax benefit about it. There are different type of plans out there, so you just need to sit down with a financial advisor to know exactly, which one will be best for you and then for your children as well. The second part is, if you're receiving like a scholarship, it can be tax free, so you don't have to pay tax on that amount of money. It's actually money that they're giving to you to actually to go to college or to go to take some classes, so on and so forth. So there are some scholarship, and then some grant, it's not earned money, so you don't pay taxes on those items. Now, let's talk about basically the one that's been here for the tax deduction and then credit, that's been here for quite a little time now. We have the American Opportunity Credit and then the Lifetime Education Credit, and or Lifetime Earning Credit. More or less every year they kind of like tweak it a little bit more. They change, the amount that you can deduct, so on and so forth. But those are the two different type of I would say like vehicle or program that we have in the tax code now in order for you to actually take advantage of. Um, so now the other thing also is student loan interest. So interest that you pay on your student loan, basically that is deductible. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind is, if you're taking basically, some course, you actually paid those courses. At the end of the year, they're gonna send you that form called like a 1098E, and you can report that into your taxes so you don't pay that amount of tax basically into your student loan. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And also, sometimes your employer can encourage you to actually to go to classes and then take some classes. So, even though that there is some limit to it, but that also is deductible. So you have all those different vehicles that that facilitate or that helps the growing process, investing into your skill process. Now, that being said, something that's very important, and I cannot mention how important that is because it's very, very important when it comes to taxes. There's a difference between a tax deduction and then a tax credit. And what is the difference? A deduction, basically, what it does is it reduces your taxable income. So let's say that your income is 5,000, and then you have a deduction for $1,000. Then your taxable income becomes $4,000. Now they're gonna tax you out of that 4,000. So that's a deduction. The deduction actually reduces your taxable income. Now, a credit on the other end is actually offset, the amount of tax liability that you have to pay. So for instance, let's use that same example. Let's say that we have $5,000 as income, and then you have a $1,000 deduction. Now your taxable income is $4,000. Now, let's say that you're at the, 20%, tax rate. I'm just doing this as an example to illustrate, right? So 20% out of 4,000 is like, $800, right? Now that $800, basically, if you have a tax credit for $400, it will reduce your taxes by $400. So now your tax due is only $400. So there's a huge difference when it comes to tax deduction and then, a tax credit. And you have to make sure that you sit down with your accountant and you know exactly which one that you're getting. Am I getting a tax deduction or am I getting a tax credit? Because at the end of the day, even though both of them, they help, but there's the credit helps you more when it comes to reduce your taxes. But again, there are some limitation about the amount that you can apply. So the best thing to do is sit down with your accountant to know more or less, where do you fit in, and then how for you to take advantage of those tax advantages. So whether it's a deduction, is a credit, at the end of the day, it will make a difference into your taxes. Thank you.